Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. We are almost at 1,500 subscribers to my little clown fiesta here, so thanks. I'm really flattered, and I'm glad you guys like this stuff. The SWTOR 10-year anniversary development stream announcing the Legacy of the Sith expansion was pretty hype in terms of knowing that the devs are still cranking away at this game after a decade. But one thing caught my attention, and it was this little bullet that appeared at the very end of the stream at the 39-minute mark for changes coming in 2022. A quote-unquote PvP revamp. Now, this bullet is both horrifying and exciting, and a few questions come to mind, like why isn't the revamp dropping with the expansion itself? What parts of PvP are they revamping? Is it designed for casual players or the more hardcore crowd? So that got me thinking, what changes would I like to be made in the PvP system? If I was the god of SWTOR PvP development, what would I want the revamp to look like? What would be healthy for the PvP community as a whole, both for new and experienced players? So I punched up my thoughts of what a PvP revamp could look like and present them to you now for review. Now, disclaimer, this is all pure speculation and just my thoughts. We know nothing beyond this one terrifying bullet right now. This is just a brainstorming exercise of someone who has spent several years PvPing in this game, so don't hold me to any of this when the details actually come out. When we actually know more details, I'll come out and do a full video reviewing what they're actually doing, because this Legacy of the Sith stuff is an easy content farm, baby. A man's gotta get paid. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Alright, let's jump into it. The current unranked PvP Warzones are in desperate need of something new. The last time they added a Warzone was Vandin in 2018, so 3 years ago now, which is basically just a reconfigured hutball, and the map was so busted that they removed it from the queue for like a year, and it still has its fair share of problems even now. Before that, we got Yavin in 2017, so 4 years ago, which was just a reskin Alderaan with buffs and stairs, which, I mean, it's better than hutball, but it's also not new. This means that the most recent Warzone map introduced to the pool that wasn't a reskin would be 5 years ago in the form of Odessen Proving Grounds in 2016, which is Odessen, need I say more. So how can we spice things up? Well, this first idea was pretty blatantly stolen from World of Warcraft, but I'm stealing it because it's a good idea. A rotating cycle of weird, quirky Warzone events that fundamentally change the base elements of a game without having to design a new Warzone or actual PvP content. For those of you that haven't played WoW, every few weeks Blizzard puts out battleground queues that sign you up for regular Warzones but with a twist. Like you can move twice as fast and jump twice as high, or all abilities have 100 meters of range, etc. So what if BioWare followed in their footsteps, and once a month they put up a week where you can join a separate queue into a quirky Warzone. For example, a Warzone where everyone gets a buff that gets them 10,000 alacrity as soon as they spawn in. Or a Proving Ground week, where players can specifically queue for 4v4 arenas to learn the basics of solo ranked. Or a VIP arena, where one player is marked as the VIP in both teams and the objective is to kill the enemy VIP to win. There's so much that they could do within the existing game system just by making small tweaks that would dramatically change the Warzone. Now, would these arenas be balanced? Well, no, probably not. People will always find a way to break the game, but that's okay. It would be fun, and it would be an easy way to breathe some life into a game mode that's rather stale at the moment without having to build a whole new Warzone. So that's idea one. Idea two would be actually bringing back a mechanic that SWTOR has already had at one point, PvP gear. For those of you that didn't play back in the day, PvP gear had a special stat called Expertise, which increased your damage reduction, and healing in PvP content. You needed PvP gear in order to be competitive, but the item level was lower than that of the high-end PvE gear. By bringing PvP gear back, they could lock set bonuses attributed with PvP gear to only 1 or 2 sets, which would make the game much easier to balance and inform players that this is the optimal set bonus that you need to be running in PvP. Then they could lock ranked content behind an expertise wall, so everyone that wanted to play ranked PvP was not only forced to have a set bonus to begin with, but they were forced to have the right set bonus for their class. There's few things more frustrating in a solo ranked game than getting someone on your team that's quite clearly new with no set bonus. It is an auto loss for you, and the poor player just testing out ranked PvP is going to get flamed for ruining the game and not having a set bonus. All in all, it's a poor interaction for all players involved that can be easily corrected by mandating a PvP set bonus. This would also help the developers in balancing the game because they would know which sets are going to be used in PvP content. Now, classes can have more than one set, for example, debilitators and tacticians for operatives, but by trimming down the number of set bonuses used in PvP content, PvP would be much easier to balance and create a more even playing field for everyone. This would also free the developers up to create more interesting set bonuses for PvE content, whereas right now they need to worry about every single set bonus getting abused in PvP. Instilling a PvP gear system would remove that fear. They could go absolutely buck wild with PvE set bonuses and try out sets that would be considered overpowered or busted in PvP, but would be much more rewarding and engaging for PvE players. So that's idea 2. The last is helping prepare new players for ranked PvP. The current unranked PvP system does not do a good job in preparing players for solo ranked. Unranked games are all objective based. You can theoretically just defend objectives all the way up to Valor 25 and never engage an enemy in real player-to-player combat. And then you could queue into solo ranked where the combat is the objective, and, well, you're just in for a bad time. Now, that's an extreme example, of course, but right now there's really no good way to prepare players for solo ranked. Solo ranked is a trial by fire, and many players get burned in the process. So what if they introduced and promoted more player versus player combat into Warzones? Like a classic team deathmatch where the first team to 50 kills wins. Or a dedicated 4v4 training grounds queue where people can actually learn the basic fundamentals of solo ranked. Or go big and create an open world PvP experience akin to the old Ilum map. Open world PvP is pretty much dead at this point, so why not bring it back and encourage players to participate? BioWare needs to find a way to encourage players to actually engage each other in dedicated, meaningful, me versus you, mano-a-mano combat outside the existing unranked structure. Because right now, there is no way to get ready for solo ranked. You just gotta jump in, bite the bullet, and acknowledge that it's gonna suck for a while until you figure out what you're doing. And that is a very unsatisfying experience for all parties involved. Also, final thought, in solo ranked, please try to prevent class stacking as much as possible. It can get brutal at times, and there are a few things as frustrating as knowing that you've lost the match as soon as you spawned in because you're playing outcomped. Please fix. Thanks. Again, this is just a thought exercise in a brainstorming activity, but who knows? Maybe a dev will see it and get inspired, and if you're hiring, you know how to contact me. But if you guys have any ideas of how you would like to see this quote-unquote PvP revamp roll out, let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to see what everyone thinks they're going to do with this, and also what you would like to see changed. So that's all I got. I hope you guys found this entertaining, and I'll be making more update videos as we learn more about this new expansion, and we'll all get to see just how wrong I really was. Alright, you take care now. Peace.